Namaskar and welcome to one more episode of What Does This Data Say? I am Ajay Prakash. Earlier this month when Nitish Kumar pulled the rug from under the BJP's feet, there was a lot of jubilation and euphoria all around, especially among the people who oppose the Modi government. Nitish Kumar had beaten the grand old Chanakya at his own game, and the swiftness which he showed in moving and forming the new alliance was indeed a remarkable feat. But then BJP being BJP, they are sure to strike back, and we already have started seeing some evidence to that effect that they have landed up at Tejasvi Yadav's house. Now, as Nitish Kumar is being touted the winner of this bout, some people have even gone to the extent to say that he is the right prime ministerial candidate to fight Narendra Modi in the 2024 election, though Nitish has been denying that. Now, just sit back and think a little bit. Does Nitish Kumar really deserve, forget the Prime Minister, does he even deserve to be the Chief Minister all over again? In the midst of this political upheaval, none of the channels are today analyzing the performance of Nitish Kumar. After all, he has been the Chief Minister of Bihar for the last 17 years and he has jumped sides many a time. It really doesn't matter whether you are with BJP or you are a part of UPA or Mahagatbandhan. The fact remains that his performance in Bihar has been rather questionable. And in my opinion, Nitish Kumar should actually should have resigned and called for fresh elections rather than jumping sides and doing this jod tod ki rajniti. So in today's episode, I'll show you some very broad level statistics about Bihar, which unfortunately remains at the bottom of the pile of Indian states from time immemorial. It is the people of Bihar who remain the sufferers while the Nitish Kumars and the Lalu Yadavs of Bihar go scot-free. In addition to showing you the data about Bihar, I am also going to talk to one Bihari young boy who has come all the way from Bihar to Hyderabad just so that he can make two ends meet back home in his village. Unemployment today in India is becoming the biggest problem for the Modi government. Here is the India unemployment rate graph from January 2016 onward till July 2020. In the pandemic year of 2020, it jumped to 23.5% and thereafter it keeps fluctuating up and down and sort of refuses to go down. According to CMIE, the unemployment rate in July this year was 8.2%. Now observe the unemployment rate of Bihar and just note how it has jumped in the last 2 months. Here is the CMI data for the month of June, where the India unemployment rate was 7.6% and Bihar at that time was 13.3%, 5% higher than the national average. And let's have a look at the August data. In August, the India unemployment rate jumped to 8.2% and Bihar to a whopping 18.8%, 10% higher than the national average. It is not that the Bihar unemployment has only jumped in the last 2 months. Here is the Bihar unemployment curve from January 2016 onwards. I have plotted that along with that of Uttar Pradesh, which is a neighboring state. In January 2017, the Bihar and UP were having a 2% unemployment rate and which was lower than that of the India rate at that time. Thereafter, the yellow curve which you see here is that of Bihar. It just went on increasing and today it stands at 18.8%, whereas UP has been handling the unemployment far better and it is now lower than the India average. It stands at 3.3%. And of course, who is the Chief Minister of Bihar? It is Nitish Kumar, of course, he is responsible for this increase in unemployment in the state. Just to show you how Bihar fares with the rest of the country, I've shown the top 10 states in terms of unemployment. The state which comes ahead of Bihar is Rajasthan. At second place is Bihar, and third place is Haryana, fourth place UP, West Bengal, Maharashtra, and so on. In Bihar, as of June 2022, there were around 57 lakhs unemployed youths. The unemployment rate is defined as the number of unemployed people when you compare it with the total workforce of a country. In India today, there are over 3.5 crore people who are seeking active employment, and then there are another 1 crore 70 lakh youth who are willing to work but not actively seeking employment. So the total unemployed people in our country today stands at 5 crores 30 lakh or 53 million people. According to CMIE, the youth in the age group of 15 to 34 are the people who seek employment or remain unemployed. So here is the map showing the unemployment youth in the age group of 15 to 34. The red areas are the ones where the unemployment rate is around 20% or even higher. That is the states of Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, and UP, followed by West Bengal, Maharashtra, and Telangana. Let's have a look at some more parameters from Bihar, which I have taken from the economic survey presented earlier this year by our finance minister. The state has a per capita income of $610 a year against the India average of $2,200, and 30.6% of the state's population lives below poverty line against the India average of 22.15%. Also note the per capita water consumption in Bihar. The average Bihari consumes just 61 liters per day, which is well below the national average of 142 liters per day. The per capita power consumption of a state also tells a story about the state of affairs. In 2019-2020, India's per capita power consumption was 1208 kilowatts as against the world average of 3260 kilowatts. Dadra Nagar Haveli topped the list with 15,517 kilowatts per capita, whereas Bihar was at the bottom of the heap with the power consumption just at 332 kilowatts. Now let's have a look at Nitish Kumar's innings in Bihar after 2000. After the year 2000, all these red rows show as and when Nitish Kumar was the Chief Minister of Bihar. Two things to be noted. Firstly, he switched sides three times in the last 10 years. And secondly, which I think is more important, he never fought an election in Bihar. He was always an elected member of the Legislative Council. Nitish Kumar's first attempt to become the Chief Minister in Bihar came in the year 2000 when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister of India. But it was a failed attempt, and Nitish Kumar resigned before facing the Legislative Assembly to prove his majority. Thereafter, Rabdi Devi became the Chief Minister and completed her term for almost 5 years. Then in 2005, there was an election held in February, which was inconclusive, and the president's rule was imposed. Thereafter, the elections were again held in October 2005, where Nitish Kumar became the Chief Minister with the support of the NDA. Thereafter, Nitish Kumar dumped the NDA, and again during the next election, he fought it along with the UPA, the Congress and the RJD, and he won that election. However, in 2014, because his party fared very badly in the parliamentary poll, he resigned and made Jitan Ram Majhi the chief minister for about eight months. He again became the chief minister just before the next election in 2015, and then he won that election with the support of the Mahagatbandhan. So, if you are confused about the innings of Nitish Kumar in Bihar, well, so am I. It's very difficult to keep track how many times he keeps switching sides, and but he continues to remain the chief minister. And it is not that his party, the JDU, does extremely well in the elections, therefore he deserves to be the chief minister. Let's have a look at the JDU performance. Here is the number of seats JDU has been winning in the elections from 2005 onward. Before that, it was the Samta Party and the JDU, they were separate entities. Now, in the 2005 second election, JDU got 88 seats. It was the single largest party. So, probably he could claim that he deserves to be the chief minister. The 2010 elections, his party won 115 seats and again was the single largest party. But from 2015 and again in 2020, his vote share has been on the decline. In the 2015 election, he only won 71 seats, whereas RJD remained the single largest party. And in the last election, his seat share came down even further, only 43 seats. And again, it was the RJD, which was the single largest party. So here is a chief minister who keeps jumping sides every 3 years. He has never fought an election in the state. He is an MLC, and his own party is on the decline in that state, but he still hangs on to being a chief minister. Niti Aayog Sustainable Development Goals report is the best place to look at the development parameters of any state in India. I have taken the report of last 3 years and let's see where Bihar stands. In 2018-2019 report, Bihar was at the second last spot, just ahead of Uttar Pradesh with an overall score of 46. In 2019-2020, Bihar again was at the second last spot. This time, Jharkhand had slipped to the last spot. And in the most recent report published in 2021, Bihar has now slipped to the last position. While many states like Uttar Pradesh have progressed during this period, Bihar has only slipped. And again, Nitish Kumar has been the chief minister all through. For those of you who are unaware of the SDG goal, I'll just quickly read them out and tell you which state tops that particular goal. So there are a total of 16 goals. Goal 1, no poverty, Tamil Nadu and Delhi. Goal 2, zero hunger, Kerala and Chandigarh. Goal 3, good health and well-being, Gujarat and Delhi. Goal 4, quality education, Kerala and Chandigarh. Goal 5, gender equality, Chhattisgarh and Andaman Nicobar. Goal 6, clean water and sanitation, Goa and Lakshadweep. Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. Several states are listed here. Bihar is missing. Goal 8, decent work and economic growth, Himachal and Chandigarh. Goal 9, industry, innovation, infrastructure, Gujarat and Delhi. Goal 10, reduced inequality, Meghalaya and Chandigarh. Sustainable cities and communities, Punjab and Chandigarh. Goal 12, responsible consumption and production, Tripura, J&K and Ladakh. Goal 13, climate action, Odisha and Andaman Nicobar. Goal 14, life below water, Odisha. Goal 15, life on land, Arunachal Pradesh, Chandigarh. And the last one, Goal 16, peace, justice and strong institutions, Uttarakhand, and Puducherry. All our usual suspects, the so-called Bimaru states, are probably missing in action. And it may not be just a coincidence that most of the states which are missing in the SDG list are BJP ruled states. So I'll end this episode today with a brief conversation with a young Bihari who is working in Hyderabad, miles away from his home, and living on peanuts. Listen to him and then judge for yourself whether Nitish Kumar really deserves to be the Chief Minister of Bihar nth time around. आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम है हरिकांत ओझा, मैं बिहार का रहने वाला हूँ।
तो आप बिहार में किस जगह से हो?
मैं बिहार में बक्सर से हूँ।
तो इतना दूर आप हैदराबाद में क्यों आए हो?
उधर रोजगार करने का कुछ काम नहीं है सर। उधर में हम लोग का रोजी इतना कम कोई काम धंधा नहीं रहता, इसीलिए हमको इतना दूर आना पड़ता है।
तो आप शादीशुदा हो क्या?
नहीं।
आपके और भाई बहन भी हैं?
हाँ है।
उनका भी आप ही ख्याल रखते हो या वो लोग काम कर रहे हैं?
हम रखते हैं, कभी कभी वो भी लोग काम कर लेते हैं।
तो आप अकेले यहाँ आए हो अपनी फैमिली से या और भी लोग हैं?
हम लोग 2 भाई सिर्फ आए हैं।
दोनों इधर आए हैं। तो बक्सर से हैदराबाद तो बहुत दूर है, जाने आने में दो दिन लगता होगा?
हाँ, 2 दिन लगता है।
तो साल में कितनी बार आप जाते हैं?
साल में हम लोग सर 6 महीना कभी 8 महीने करके जाते हैं।
साल में 2 बार आप चले जाते हो। तो बिहार में आपको वहाँ जॉब नहीं मिलता, पटना में या बक्सर के अंदर या बेगूसराय या जो इंडस्ट्रियल टाउन हैं जहाँ पे? नहीं। क्यों वहाँ पे क्यों नहीं मिलता आपको? वहाँ
पर छोटी छोटी कंपनियाँ हैं सर, लेकिन वहाँ के लोग जो आजू बाजू के रहते हैं उन लोग के वजह से ज़्यादा लोग का काम नहीं रहता है, 10-5 लोग का रहता है। छोटा छोटा में कितना काम रहता है, जो हम लोग बड़ी कंपनी देखते हैं तो उसमें अच्छा रहता है।
आपका खेती बाड़ी भी है?
लेकिन ज़्यादा नहीं है सर।
ज़्यादा उससे आपका फैमिली का नहीं चल पाता? नहीं। आप पढ़े लिखे हो?
हाँ, 10th तक
पढ़े हो। आगे नहीं पढ़ पाए?
नहीं, हम लोग का मजबूरी हो गया पढ़ाई करने के लिए, लेकर स्कूल के लिए, ये चीज़ के लिए।
पिताजी क्या करते हैं?
ड्राइवरी करते हैं।
ड्राइवरी करते हैं। तो वहाँ आपके साथी लोग भी बिहार से यहाँ होंगे, काफ़ी हैं हैदराबाद में?
हाँ है।
कितने आपके रफली, आप कितनों को जानते हो?
मैं यहाँ 10 लोग को जानता हूँ।
10 लोगों को। सब इसी वजह से आए?
हाँ, हाँ।
तो वहाँ का राजनीतिक सिचुएशन में क्या वहाँ नौकरियाँ नहीं मिल रही हैं? क्यों आ रहे हैं आप लोग इतना दूर?
यहाँ नौकरियाँ का सवाल है सर कि क्योंकि हम लोग के तरफ में कंपनियाँ थी, पहले बंद हो गई, और जो पहले के रोजी रोटी करने वाले थे वो लोग पहले थे, हम लोग कभी नए नए में बाहर निकले। वहाँ का लोग का ये चीज़ होता है तो पुराने लोग का रखते हैं, नए लोग का भी चालू करने के लिए बोले कि काम होगा तो देंगे, अब नहीं होता है तो कोई छुट्टी जाता है तो मिलता है, परमानेंट काम नहीं मिलता है हम लोग को।
तो सरकारी नौकरियां नहीं है कोई?
नहीं।
जो कोई चपरासी टाइप की या जो आप जैसे यहाँ सिक्योरिटी का काम करते हो? हाँ। वहाँ नहीं कर सकते आप?
कर सकते हैं, मिलता है तो कर सकते हैं ना।
हाँ, लेकिन तो मिलता नहीं।
नहीं।
लोग बहुत कितने लोग वहाँ पे बेरोजगार हैं आपके गाँव में ऐसे?
50%।
50% बेरोजगार हैं। और वो लोग कैसे जी रहे हैं वहाँ?
अपना छोटा मोटा कारोबार करके गांव में गुजर करते हैं वो लोग।
अच्छा, आप यहाँ पर जो काम करते हो उसमें घर कितना पैसा भेज देते हो?
महीने के 8,000 10,000 करके भेज देता हूँ।
8,000 भेज देते हो। तो आप यहाँ पे कितने पैसे आपके पास बचते हैं?
मेरे पास 3,000 4,000 करके बचता है महीने।
पूरा महीना आप 3-4 हज़ार रुपए में गुजार देते?
हाँ।
और उसका आने जाने का भी पैसा उसी से ही निकालते?
हाँ।
तो बहुत टफ है आपकी लाइफ।
और थोड़ा गुजर करना पड़ता है क्योंकि हम लोग का काम सीखने के लिए हम लोग तरह में कुछ नहीं है, तो इसीलिए हम लोग का कंपनियां देखना पड़ता है। कंपनी में जगह नहीं मिलता है तो कभी बाहर कहीं निकले तो हम लोग का कुछ भी काम मिलता है, हम लोग कर लेते हैं।
तो आगे क्या प्लान है आपका? कुछ आगे सीखने का है?
मेरे को काम सीखने का है, और क्या काम थोड़ा अच्छा रहेगा तो कंपनी में भी जो अच्छा काम मिलता है सीखने का, करने का, हम लोग सीखने के लिए रेडी रहते हैं।
चलिए, बहुत अच्छा। ऑल द बेस्ट। Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week with some other data Till then, Namaskar.